Hey guys, how's it going? Alright, so the reason that I'm making this video is because I did a live stream yesterday where part of it was me doing a response to a That Vegan Teacher video. Unfortunately, I realized some way into the stream that people could not hear the actual video being played, and so I decided to just shoot a video, just a regular video, responding to more of her stuff. Now, if you want to go check that stream out, you can go see it, and then I linked the video in the comment section below so you can follow along with what I was responding to. But this time, I'm going to be responding to two things. I'm going to be responding to a short that she made about, veganphobia, and then I'm going to do a response to a video that she just uploaded today where she decides to shit on and exploit, suicide victims. And no, I'm not going to be using the term unalive. Fuck that term, and fuck anyone who falls in lockstep with using that fucking term. This website's being so fucking ridiculous nowadays. It's gotten so fucking retarded. I mean, God forbid we actually call suicide what the fuck it is, as if it's not a fucking serious issue. We're so, worried about what the fuck ever that we can't even draw attention to an actual topic by its actual fucking name, and we have to refer to it as unaliving. I know that's a completely different, it's a complete side tangent, but that just fucking annoys the shit out of me. Fucking unalive. Call it what the fuck it is. But, anyways. And by the way, I also want to say this. I'm aware of the fact that vegan teacher probably just wants the attention. I get that. But I kind of feel like her shit should be responded to. Now, it has been responded to before by people way bigger than myself, like Isaac Butterfield and other people like that. But I think that, smaller content creators like myself should also respond to her bullshit, because I do think that she is going to take advantage of very naive and vulnerable people by spreading the bullshit that she does. And so I feel like it should just be called out more and more and more. That's why I'm making this response, and also just because it pisses me off, quite frankly. And yeah, you can say maybe that's the intention, and I'm, giving her what she wants, but what the fuck ever. I don't really give a shit. I can speak my mind, and I will speak my mind. So, like I said, we're going to be doing a response to a short that she did, and then the actual video. Now, the actual video in question is about 6 minutes long from what I remember, and I watched, the first minute of it. And yeah, I got a minute and I'm like, yeah, this needs a response done to it, because that's just complete and utter disgusting bullshit. But let's get into the short, and before we do, I've got a beverage, because I'm gonna fucking need it. Because in order to watch this crazy fucking bitch's videos, you almost need to drink. Alright. So, without further ado, short. So it's called Veganphobia Needs to be Called Out, Ethical Vegans Time to Speak Up. And by ethical vegans, she means just extremist vegan dickheads. And obviously, as a disclaimer at the beginning of this video, I would imagine that this goes without saying, but this is not towards every single vegan out there. I'm aware that there are vegans who aren't assholes about the fact that they're vegan. I get that, so this isn't towards those, those groups of vegans that are actually cool about it and don't try to shove it down people's throats and aren't morally fucking self-righteous about it. No, this is only towards people like That Vegan Teacher, Vegan Gains, Freely the Banana Girl, vegan dickheads like that who are extreme about it. So, just for the record.
Hey everybody over on TikTok, on Twitter, over on Instagram, and on YouTube. I'm making a video for YouTube about the concept of veganphobia.
Which is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, veganphobia is right up there with fat phobia. Fat phobia. All fat phobia is a giant fucking excuse. A giant fat excuse, no pun intended. Or maybe I did kind of intend it there, but whatever. But all fat phobia is a fucking excuse. It's a giant excuse to not do better, to not improve your own life. and because people are too fucking lazy and don't have the fortitude to actually change their own life, they need to hide behind, you know, labels like phobic and stuff like that and claim, well, you just don't like me because I'm fat, you know, when in reality they're just bitter about the fact that they're too lazy to actually, you know, change their lives for the better. You know, I mean, fat phobia is ridiculous, and you know, for the reason that it's so ridiculous is that it's appropriating terms like homophobia. Okay, now homophobia is a very real thing. Like, you are discriminating towards, being hateful towards, or fearful of people for something that they cannot change at all. You're being fearful and hateful towards people who are what they are. And there's, you know, and for irrational reasons. Okay, whereas, you know, simply being fat, now, yes, obviously there are medical conditions that can, you know, cause one to, you know, gain, and it makes it hard to lose weight. And every once in a while it can be due to genes, you know, sure, I'll entertain that a little bit, but barring anything like that, people get to where they're at. People get to be like the people on My 600-Pound Life from their own choices. It's not on anyone else to, you know, entertain your unhealthy lifestyle and your unhealthy choices. You got that way because you chose to get that way, and it's on you to improve your life. It's not on everyone else to accommodate you, but this is getting way off topic, but you get where I'm going. Then this concept of vegan phobia, again, being vegan is a choice. It is a diet choice. You know, it's something that you can change. Like I said in my live stream, if I wanted to go on a vegan diet right now, I fucking could. It wouldn't be easy, but I could do it. I could go on a vegan diet. Just like, you know, Miss Katie here can, you know, decide to go off the vegan diet before she collapses in on herself. And she can easily choose to revert back to eating meat if she wanted to do that, which obviously, you know, but yeah. So being vegan and, you know, being severely overweight or being fat, obese, both things that can be controlled, both things that are choices, you know, and, you know, the slightly different, but still, both choices, both things that can be controlled. Being gay, not something that someone can control. And I'm sorry, but, you know, you can claim that vegans, you know, are victims, and they suffer so much hate and stuff and discrimination. The fact that you even try to make it analogous to the shit that gay people have had to go through, you know, for decades and decades before, you know, in the past, that's just insulting. It's insulting and it's ridiculous. Also, you can prop up your talking points.
So I'd like to know if you have ever experienced being a victim of veganphobia. And for those of you who think that veganphobia is not a real thing, I'd like to challenge you to try to explain why it is that so many vegans get death threats.
Well, let's see. Now, I don't support vegans getting death threats, even people like yourself. I don't think it's appropriate. I think that rather your arguments should be attacked, and I mean, now if you do get personally attacked, barring death threats and stuff like that, you do kind of bring it on yourself. But, you know, the reason that vegans sometimes are viewed in such a negative light, it's because of people like yourself. You know, now, you know, I part of me wants to believe that you're being intentionally obtuse about this, but I honestly think that you really just lack that much in self-awareness that you don't realize that the reason that vegans tend to have negative connotations attached to them is because of people like yourself. Because of people like yourself, Vegan Gains, Freely the Banana Girl, Durian Rider, Ask Yourself, and all these other vegan douchebags on YouTube and elsewhere, or anywhere else. Yeah, now, am I saying that it's fair to then judge every single person who calls themselves vegan based on those people? No, I don't think that it's fair for a collective of any group of people to be judged based on, you know, some people in that group. But No, that's why vegans tend to get bad receptions a lot of the time. It's because of assholes like yourself who are self-righteous, narcissistic, will exploit any topic just to get your point across, just to tell everyone how much better you are than everyone else, even if it means exploiting tragedies like 9/11. And you wonder why you have such you get such a vitriolic reaction from people. Even death threats, which again, like I said, I don't support. I don't support death threats towards that vegan teacher. Don't do it. Don't do that. You just make yourself just as bad by doing that. But yeah. And as far as the concept of vegan phobia, like I just explained, it's nonsensical. Okay, to be phobic, or to be ist, actually, ist or phobic, you're discriminating against someone based on an immutable characteristic of that person, whether it's their race, sexual orientation, gender, or whatever else. Someone, can't change that they're a certain skin color. Someone can't change their sexual orientation. And I mean, nor should they have to. I mean, it shouldn't be, it shouldn't be a problem at all. But you get what I'm saying. Whereas to be vegan is a choice. And you bring all the spite and negativity on yourself from how you act. You bring all this vegan phobia on yourself by being a complete and utter asshat about it. And by, emotionally manipulating people, and by weaponizing, tragedies and serious topics. Again, just to, get your ideology across, just to prop up your points.
So many vegans, when they're out doing activism, have their signs pulled away from them or are thrown.
Well, maybe because when vegans, or at least, a lot of the vegan demonstrations that people see, these vegan protesters are being obnoxious assholes. There was that one, Damien Skyfire did a video a while back. It's on his original channel, I believe, where these vegan protesters came and protested a Santa parade. And basically, I think, had it shut down. Because they decided to be such pricks that they'll go as far as to shut something like that down that's really just largely meant for children. And they had signs that I think said, don't, eat pussy, not chicken, or whatever the fuck. Maybe it's because you will literally, many other annoying craptivists, you'll prevent people from going about their day-to-day life. You people are no better than, protesters who block the street, in order to protest some bullshit cause, that's trumped up. You people are just as annoying as those, stereotypical anti-abortion people who stand outside abortion clinics, and all that. Now, you have every right to protest. It's your right to do so. I'm not saying that it isn't. But more than likely, there's a reason why protesters get such, again, negative feedback. It's probably because you guys are being dicks about it. These are diets that you willingly chose to go on for your own personal reasons, and that's totally fine. That's your choice. You do you. But when you start being sanctimonious assholes about it, that's when it becomes a problem. That's when people get fed up. Now, if there have been times when people have gotten their signs ripped away, that's not okay. I don't support that, but...
dead body parts at them when they're just out there trying to defend the animals? What is...
And again, I don't support getting, dead body parts being thrown their way, but, I mean, again, it depends on the situation. And anyways, that's up for me to believe whether you're actually not just pulling the shit out of your ass or not.
Is it exactly the new thing about veganphobia that makes it non-existent? And what do you think about this proposal?
Well, I mean, again, the root of it is that being vegan is a choice. And it's ridiculous for you to somehow draw an analogy towards, to homophobia or sexism or racism and act like it's in any way the same at all. You know, if all vegans, you know, chose to go on the diet and chose just to be relaxed about it and weren't getting in people's faces about it, and weren't going to fucking restaurants and being annoying as all hell about it and being an asshole about it, no one would have a problem with you guys. Now, sure, there might be a few people here and there that might give you a hard time for it because they think it's stupid, but you're always going to have those types of people with any group of people. You're always going to have bullies. You know, people that need to take out their issues on other people because, you know, they don't feel good about themselves. But, you know, vegans tend to get these reactions. And some of them aren't justified, like I said, but still, they tend to get these reactions for a reason.
So, that's veganphobia.
And a lot of people have an issue with the behavior and the attitudes, not so much people being vegan in and of itself.
As dangerous, as cruel, as evil, as homophobia is, and that as such, it should be identified as a hate crime.
Well, I mean, if a vegan is assaulted because they're protesting, it shouldn't be a hate crime. It should just be, you know, an assault charge. And no, it shouldn't be a fucking hate crime. Again, you're trying to make it analogous to homophobia is ridiculous.
What do you think? Let me know in the comments, and I'll be using your comments in a video today.
All right, that's the end of the short. So, now that we got that out of the way, let's get into this video. And yes, this video is going to be a long one, so strap yourselves in. Alright, so this video is called Don't Unalive Animals. Don't unalive yourself. That's...
I'm not.
Alright, let's back this shit up. Alright, here we go.
So I just heard in the news that the number of suicides in the United States went up last year.
Apparently, and I'm sure that you're going to find some way to shit on that.
Now, many of you know that when people die, it doesn't exactly always make me feel sad if I know that there are people who paid for the murder of innocent animals.
Yeah, and then she posts a picture of what is it, like, I don't know, animals hanging from meat hooks to try to elicit, you know, so, you know, emotional guilt, to try to guilt, you know, people watching, to manipulate your emotions, as most vegan YouTubers tend to do. You know, and of course you don't give a shit. You know, of course you'll exploit a topic like suicide and people ending their own lives, you know, to prop up your own, you know, diet and health choice that you think makes you better than everyone else. You didn't care about, you know, taking the piss out of 9/11 to prop up your own talking points. People deserved what they got in 9/11 because they ate meat.
If people were hurting cats and dogs by the billions, you'd feel exactly the same way as...
Yeah, well, that's not the same. Okay, we're not, you know, someone beating the shit out of their cat or their dog and abusing it just for the sake of abusing it, just to be, you know, a power-hungry, you know, sadistic asshole, is in no way the same towards farmers, you know, raising cattle, you know, cows, chickens, stuff like that, for a specific purpose. You know, cows are in, you know, with ethical farming, which is on the rise, it has been, cows are raised in very, very good conditions, and when the time comes, they are used for sustenance, for food. And it also serves several other purposes. It stimulates the economy, agriculture, stuff like that. You know, we don't kill animals needlessly. There are many, many purposes to it. Very, very different than someone simply abusing their pet for the sake of it, because they get off on it or because it just makes them feel better. So your example is bullshit.
Way as I do. The problem is that Your species is, and I'm not.
Yeah, but, you know, doesn't it make you specious, or whatever the fuck, with how you talk about people? Or how you talk about suicide victims in this context? I'm just saying.
You eat animals, you wear them, you exploit them.
Yeah, you wear animals too. I'm willing to bet that at least some of the clothing that you have was made from animal products.
Pay for them to be incarcerated, kidnapped.
I don't directly pay for them, by the way. I don't pay for them to be slaughtered or any of that shit.
And vegans, they don't.
Yeah, well, you still take part in things that you condemn, whether you want to admit it or not. Like I said, I'm willing to bet, you know, your purse or whatever, some of your possessions were probably made with some sort of animal products. And plants are also living beings, creatures. Okay, they're all, you know, so either way, you know, whatever you're eating, okay, you know, a life force is being cut off. You know, but it's the circle of life. Animals eat other animals. You know, if I was to stumble across a lion or something like that, I would most likely be killed and eaten. Okay, it's a fucking circle. That's just how life is. Always has been.
It's not that we think that we're better than you. It's just that...
You do, though. I mean, that's nothing, you know, your channel is nothing but how much better you are than other people just because of your diet choice. That's all it fucking is. And you trying to guilt trip people into following your diet choice.
that we've had the courage to watch the documentaries that you refuse to watch. So you really just don't understand.
A lot of us have watched, we just don't really give a shit because we realize that, yeah, a lot of things in life aren't necessarily pretty. You know, things die all the time. And again, it's not needlessly. You know, these farmers aren't just rounding up cows and just like beating the shit out of them and then just eventually shooting them in the head just for the sport of it. And yes, factory farming can be pretty visceral and disgusting. I'm aware of that, but whatever.
Understand what you're paying for.
I mean, you don't really give a shit about the fact that there are actual human beings in this world, like literally, quite literally starving and being actually oppressed, and being violated every day. You don't give a shit about that, especially if they're meat eaters. I mean, you're so fucking crazy that you'd probably say they brought it on themselves because they hurt animals and paid for animals to be murdered.
Do you know what speciesism is? It's the first form of racism that's taught. And unfortunately, our parents shoved corpses down our throats without us ever consenting when we were small. And this is something that...
Yeah, or maybe it was because, you know, especially infants need the proper nutrients to actually grow properly and function properly and, you know, have a chance at living an actual life. If we all went your way and newborns were to be put on a vegan diet, the population of the world would collapse, like, right away, in no time. Because there have been several cases of fucking dipshit vegan parents doing this, forcing their own diet onto their children, onto their newborns. And then no surprise, you know, the infant dies because it's malnourished. And then the children are also extremely malnourished. You know, so I don't know, you probably are an advocate for forcing vegan diets onto babies, to newborns. So you're that extreme.
Something that I'm working to change. I think that we have a right to maintain our vegan virginity. That is to say...
Your vegan virginity with... I mean, what? Like, what? Being penetrated by a fucking carrot or shit or some shit?
We have a responsibility when it comes to the younger generation, not to feed them any corpses, because they just can't consent to it.
Yeah, what would your idea to be? What would your fucking idea be of to feed them? What, raise them on fucking raw vegetables and fruits? You know, stuff that isn't going to allow them to survive. So they can all be as malnourished and skinny as you.
Imagine if you are able to grow up, and at the age of 18, you then can make up your own mind about what you put in your body. But when you're little, your parents make sure that you are safe and pure and clean.
That's literally a contradiction. You are literally forcing a diet onto your kid at a very young age without them being able to make up their own mind about whether they want to be on that diet or not. Human beings are naturally omnivores, not herbivores or vegans. You know, there's a reason why a lot of people, you hear a lot of stories about how people, you know, who formerly were vegan, they had to stop because it started to affect their health negatively, because everyone's body chemistry is different.
And that there are no corpses in there that they have put there. Later on, obviously, you can make up your own mind, and hopefully by then you'll realize, hey, I'm a health.
Yeah, half the kids probably won't even be alive by then because they'll have been malnourished and they'll die of starvation.
Be a happy vegan, and you won't.
Like I said in my live stream, find me a person that has been vegan from the time that they were born, from the very moment they were born, to the time of death. Someone who has lived a full life. I'm talking about the person that has lived 80 years on this earth, 90 years on this earth, vegan the entire time. Find me an example. I guarantee that you can't. I mean, even you yourself said that you've only been vegan for 7 years? You were vegetarian before, which at the very least on a vegetarian diet, you are actually getting most of the nutrients that you actually need. A vegetarian diet is far more natural than a vegan diet.
End up eating any animals. Now, I can already picture all of you people out there who are...
Yeah, and you're gonna fucking grin smugly as you continue to exploit suicide victims, which is what this video is all about. Because people who killed themselves deserved it if they were meat eaters. You know.
Saying that, what about lions? But, you're not a lion. And I can also picture all of you saying, what about the people up north? Aren't you being racist or somehow a colonist or whatever? I'm not talking about people who have no choice. I'm talking about you.
Yeah, but you're trying to make it analogous, and... Yeah, what about lions? Well, you're not a lion. Well, that doesn't negate the point.
You have a choice. You have moral agency. You can make the decision to be kind-hearted, to buy lentils, beans, tofu.
That's a decision that you yourself made for your own reasons, and that's perfectly fine. Okay, but you do not have the right to expect others to, in lockstep, just go with your diet. That's a choice that you yourself made. And that's fine, but why does being kind necessitate being vegan in your eyes? Well, obviously I know why, but in your eyes, the only way to be an actual kind, decent human being is to be vegan. And it just goes to show how extreme you are, just how entrenched in your own extremism and narcissism and sociopathy that you are.
Everything in the grocery store except the corpses and anything stolen from animals.
Okay, well, why don't you respect and accept the fact that some people are going to choose differently than you in terms of their diet? Again, like I've asked before, what about people who literally need to eat meat in order to survive? Because their body is a certain way, and they have to actually follow a certain diet. or else they will die? Or what about people with autism? Like, you know, autism and I'm not trying, you know, again, like last time, I'm not trying to be stereotypical, but like autism where they only want to eat certain things. People with all sorts of conditions. Like, do you not think about that? Well, obviously, no, you don't, because your brain is fried. Maybe if you actually had a little bit of salmon or something, then you might think a little more clearly.
Does it make me see red when I find out that people are hurting animals? Of course it does. But does it make me happy?
Yeah, and I bet people see red when you exploit events like 9/11, especially the people who lost family members in that event and friends, you know, husbands and wives. I bet they see red when you choose to exploit something like that to prop up your own fucking diet that you think that everyone else should be following. You know, because I know that you would like to, in a perfect world, you would love to live in a theocracy where veganism is the main religion, because that's what it is to you, a religion. Not just a diet choice, but a religion.
Happy to find out that the suicide rate has gone up? No, it really doesn't. It makes me feel really sad. Why, you might ask?
Well, at least you have the dignity to say that, and at least pretend that you fucking care.
Well,
Even though you literally said in the beginning of this video that it doesn't make you sad.
because these are all people who had the potential to care. Maybe many of...
Yeah, as if the people who killed themselves, as if the suicide victims that you're shitting on right now didn't care. As if they didn't have people that they fucking cared about. Or didn't have animals, pets that they cared about. And didn't have people that cared about them. You think the one thing on their mind is whether they were vegan or not?
Many of them didn't even know what happens to the animals. Or maybe they...
Yeah, that probably wasn't their sole concern. Because they probably felt like so much of a burden to their loved ones that they felt that that was the only way out. So the problems that they were going through weren't going to end. And they only saw that as an actual solution, ending their own life. You know, but the only thing of value that you can contribute is, well, if only they had been vegan, they could have been. Yeah, do you think being vegan would have prevented them from actually offing themselves? Fuck.
Maybe they did. Maybe that's exactly why they took their own lives.
Oh, so now it's why they took their own life. Oh, that's fucking great. Yes, I'm sure that was the reason why. It couldn't be a number of other fucking reasons why people commit suicide, why they kill themselves. It was because they didn't go vegan. They felt bad about it. You fucking bitch.
There are many people right now who are suffering from dystopia, the anguish of being vegan in a non-vegan world. It can be excruciating.
Oh, poor you. Poor fucking you as you exploit suicide victims and shit all over them.
Excruciatingly painful when you find out how zombie-like everyone around you is.
You're calling other people zombie-like when you quite literally look like an actual zombie. How skin and bones you are.
When even your friends and family continue to hurt animals, even when you beg them to stop. Students tell me all the time how agonizing it is when they find out that their parents are actually not as kind as they thought they would be.
Why? Because they aren't vegan? Because they aren't following your diet? You know, no one's a kind person until they become a vegan. It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter what they've done for their family, you know, how giving they are, how caring they are, how considerate of other people they are, you know. It doesn't matter, you know, who people they've helped out of tough situations. No, none of that matters. What matters is what they choose to consume that actually makes them a kind person or not. You know.
So what can we do to help the younger generation to feel like they matter? Like they're important?
Let's guilt trip them about not being vegan. That'll totally make them fucking feel better. It's not like the younger generation is worried about financial woes and, you know, all this other shit. You know. Their job prospects or just how all that crap. No, fuck all that shit. Let's not do anything about that. Let's make people feel bad that they're not vegan. That'll solve all the problems that younger generations are facing. People like myself.
Important. Like we care about them. Like we don't want them to hurt themselves.
Yeah, well, if they're not vegan, then you kind of have already said that you're all right with it, so.
Having spent a lot of time on social media and seen how vegan-phobic people are.
You can put the sad music in the background to manipulate people. Why do people still do that? You know, if you have to put, manipulative music in the background and show images, it just shows that your argument really isn't that strong to begin with, and what you have to say really doesn't mean shit.
But then after having looked at their accounts, like, closely, and seeing often that they seem like really sad people, just desperate for some sort of attention.
What's sad because they're not fucking vegan? Because, they're not malnourished like you are. And with the way the economy is, don't you think that would be a little bit hard to maintain a vegan diet, given how much more expensive organic items are and stuff like that, and vegan products, plant-based burgers and shit?
You see them hugging their cats and playing with their guinea pigs and their gerbils, and they clearly don't want to hurt animals. But then they must feel completely lost. I mean, it does take some sort of bravery to be vegan in this non-vegan world. So how can we help them?
Not really. Again, you chose to be vegan. It's not something that was forced upon you. You're not fucking brave. You choose to be militant like you are. You choose to bring all this negativity, negative publicity on yourself.
Well, one of the things that I always try to do is to remind people that they matter. And that the animals definitely...
Unless they're vegan, in which case they don't really matter because they're hurting animals.
need them. Even if you're not fully vegan yet, you can start to do animal rights activism right here on TikTok.
So just be another militant asshole like yourself.
And on YouTube. You don't have to be a full-out vegan in order to start doing vegan animal rights activism. On YouTube.
Or just don't be an activist about it. Just adopt the diet for personal reasons of your own and just leave it at that.
Or TikTok. You can simply be honest with people. I mean, just tell them. Tell them that you saw my channel. Tell them that you don't want to hurt
That would not help their case at all.
animals. And that you want to start to be vegan. Be honest about it. Film your journey. Film your times when you're feeling weak. Film yourself crying when you see the animals suffering, and film yourself crying when you see...
Oh, here's the fake fucking crying, pretend crying. After she has just shit over suicide victims multiple times in this fucking video, poor you.
people around you eating them, and how it's complex. You can even film yourself looking right at the camera and saying, look, my friends are all over there at McDonald's eating a burger, and you can tell...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure those friends wouldn't be friends anymore. If they're being that much of an obnoxious fucking whiny cunt about it.
Tell people that you really want to go too, because you miss the taste and you miss your friends. My point is that no matter what state you're at, we need you on this planet to be alive. We don't want people to hurt themselves. We want you to help us to save the animals. And
Only if you adopt our diet. And otherwise, whatever, it doesn't really mean much to us.
also to save yourself. So think about it. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, because adopting a vegan diet will totally protect you from diseases like cancer and stuff. It's not like cancer is already, embedded in some people, and it doesn't matter what diet they adopt. People can get cancer either way. Just like people can, have a diet where they eat meat, have a normal omnivorous diet, and still live for a long time.
Stay alive. I'll see you in the next video.
So that was that. Just pure unadulterated bullshit. you know, people like this just, you know, they don't have any real actual problems, so this is what they turn to. So yeah, that's been it for this one, and as always, let me know what you guys think, and feel free to do a response as well, I guess. Yeah, so peace, and you guys have yourselves a good one.